I kind of accidentally joined a cult. Hi guys and girls and dolls and brats and divas and everything. Hey, it's me, Louise. Guess where? Hey. The vibe is funky, if you can't tell already. I just woke up in a funky mood. Welcome to the Guess Where I Am podcast and who I'm with. Today I'm with no one but myself. I am Louise, like I said a few moments earlier, and I am somewhere very boring. Not really boring. It just could be more exciting, I guess. I don't know. The day has a lot yet to come though, so I'm feeling optimistic and positive about the future. Today is a Thrills and Spills episode. If you couldn't tell by a title, I kind of accidentally joined a cult. Yeah. I'm gonna get into that story in a little bit. It's not that big of a deal, okay? I just want to repeat myself. It's not that big of a deal. And I wouldn't personally say I'm in said cult. I just found myself in an interesting situation with an interesting person, and I didn't know what I was getting into, okay? So we're gonna get into it, okay? And I also don't even really know if it's a cult. Like, the whole thing is a gray area. I'm just confused. It was also a long time ago now, so whatever. This is Thrills and Spills. I'm your judge. Our trial case is a cult, and it's just me. And yeah, before we get into the story, what is Thrills and Spills? If this is your first time at Guess Where I Am, welcome. You chose a great podcast. You made a good choice. Thrills and Spills is a shorter form of our longer episodes where we talk about something that happened to us, which is me. I have a co-host, Coke. She's not here. Thrills and Spills is singular, so this is just me. So it's a 30-minute or less, and it's just a travel story where we learned a lesson, or it reminded us of an important lesson that we want to give to you, our listeners, so that you're more prepared during your next big adventure, right? So, you might already know this. You might be like, oh, well, no shit, or like, no duh. Sometimes it's also nice to be reminded, but you won't know what the lesson is until the very end. So I ask you, my listeners, to open your mind and your ears, take this in, and try to predict what the lesson is, what the moral of the story is. You might as well, if you got nothing else to do. But, this is also perfect time for your lunch break. Just listen and watch this podcast. We are on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Pinterest. Our last episode was about Bali. We went viral because of a monkey, a selfie with a monkey, which was like a really big touristy thing to do. So I'm just kind of confused as to why that went viral. I think we ought to just get on with this trial. I'm talking about nonsense, and I know you guys came here to hear about my cult story. So let's begin the trial. For this, I will take off my glasses, because things are getting serious. I also hope that my camera's in focus. I have no idea. It's like I can see. I went to the eye doctor and they said, see you in 7 years. I was like, all right, I guess we're good. But then I'm looking at myself and I'm like, but is that clear? Whatever. See you in 7 years is wild, but also really nice and comforting. I'm good with my eyes for 7 years. It's because I eat a lot of carrots. A lot of people think I have a nice glow to myself. It's just the carrot diet, okay? I'm comfortable. Are you comfortable? We'll get into it. I know where to start, but I don't even know where to start. So, like every court case, we have to set the scene of the crime. It's not really a crime, just a situation, right? I'm not a lawyer or anything. I'm just talking. I'm in Brisbane, Australia. Brisbane, it's a nice town. It's a nice city. Sorry. town. I personally really enjoyed it. I think Brisbane, from a tourist perspective, sometimes you get like hot or cold. I think Brisbane was really nice. I had a fun time there. It has an awesome city line. They have a free ferry that if you time with sunset, it's gorgeous and it's great views. It's a great way to see the city. And they also have like really massive bats, like really scary, massive bats, the size of my torso, at least. My wingspan for sure. And they all came out at night. And maybe it was like the season or something. It was like bat season, or maybe Brisbane just has like a ton of bats. But it was like a flock of birds in the sky. And I was like, what is that? It's so big. And then I realized it's massive bats.
And then just like loads of bats. And there's like the net bats by like looking for bats.
I have bats that shit up my house back home.
What?
Yeah, they come every night.
Is it in the morning? They wake up and there's like pants everywhere.
Yeah, there's like shit everywhere.
Yeah.
Until my dad was like, I'm gonna find us some of that shit. And then he found that if we turn the light on, they don't hunt the light or something.
And it was really cool. I'm not personally scared of bats. I guess maybe if one of those came really close to me, I'd be terrified because they're so massive. But it was pretty cool to just see like 100 at least, if not more, bats like flying from the trees and over the sunset on Brisbane. Okay, whatever. So we're in Brisbane. It's a good city. There's a casino there. I think it might be popular for its casino. And I'm staying in a hostel because hostels are great and I like them. I don't mind sharing a room with strangers because it's a really great way to meet people. And usually hostels will have events during the week which will help you like mingle with the other people who are staying there. This night happened to be family dinner night, which usually just means like free spaghetti, which is great when you're backpacking on a budget. Like, yeah, I'll just eat a bowl of pasta. I don't care. I need to save money so I can do stuff, you know? So I'm going to eat this free pasta and I'm going to enjoy it even if it's literally just boxed pasta and like a can of sauce. It was great. So I'm there with my friend at the time and we're just chilling, trying to talk to new people, and out of the corner of my eye, okay, something catches me, you know, like a light, like a little sparkle, and you're like, ding, right? And I shifted, there was stairs, and coming down the stairs was this man, but he wasn't walking normally. He was walking backwards. He was walking backwards down the stairs, facing forward. Not, his head wasn't turned. He was just like a robot almost. And I was like, that is unreal. Like, what do you mean? How do you walk downstairs backwards without even spotting yourself? I just don't think you can be like a normal person and have that ability. I've never in my life. Maybe that's why, like, I was like, something's going on. Because I was like, who the heck walks downstairs backwards? It still shocks me to this day. It's just like he wasn't holding onto the hand railing. He wasn't looking behind him. Anyway, I was like, okay, weird. Returned to my conversation with my friend and my bowl of pasta. But then, of course, suddenly I get another sixth sense. And he's right behind me eating pasta. And I was like, oh no, I've somewhat summoned this creature from the stairs accidentally. And so he's eating a bowl of pasta and starts talking to me. But this is not a normal conversation. This is not a normal guy. And this guy is our cult leader of the story. And I guess if I'm the defendant, I would be the prosecutor. He's the defendant. Plaintiff. He's the plaintiff. Maybe? I don't know. He's the problem. He was never mean. It was never a problem. I don't know what to call him, but he's the main character in our story. In my story? Whatever. So he starts talking to me. He is around 40-something years old, in my opinion. And I don't think he's going to watch this. He doesn't follow me on Instagram or anything, follow podcasts or anything. So if I get your age wrong and you or somehow get a hold of this, I'm sorry, dude. maybe you're in your 30s or 40s. Was not 20s vibe, okay? He's Chinese, so his first language is Mandarin, and I don't speak a word of Mandarin. And we actually talked about this in my Bali episode, not like this moment, but I happened to meet the Chinese Olympic snowboarding team in Bali. It's like my claim to fame or whatever. They didn't speak a word of English, but luckily when I was in Bali, I was with my friend Amelia, and she spoke fluent Mandarin, which is just a crazy coincidence. But in this moment, I was sadly without my Mandarin translator, which was fine because this guy who walked backwards down the stairs, I don't even know what name to give him. I'm just going to call him the cult leader or the interesting guy, backwards stairs guy. He spoke English, but it wasn't perfect, so he would speak like really quietly, like really like whispering to me. So because he was whispering, it made it really hard to understand him because we're at family dinner. There's a ton of people. It's super loud. So I'm already like, huh? And you're, huh? And a what? So to compensate for the fact that he didn't speak didn't speak much English and he didn't speak that loud, he would dance. That's the best way I could put it. It was very performative. It was almost like performance art, honestly, to like try to communicate. He would be moving his arms like up and down and around and like really overly expressive. For example, he asked me where I'm from and I said, oh yeah, I'm from America. And he went, America. And he started doing like bodybuilding poses. And then when he said, I was like, oh, where are you from? And when he said that he was from China, he did a lot of like half like meditative yoga poses and then half bodybuilding poses as well. And I don't really like to be judgmental per se, but I will not lie. It was kind of hard to keep a straight face because of how performative this all was. Like it wasn't like talking with your hands where you have like movement within your little body bubble. Like this was, big outstretches and turns and graceful waves and just like really dynamic movement while he's whispering. So like I'm trying to understand what he's saying. I'm trying to keep up with his performance per se, which I do appreciate because it's all in just trying to communicate, and trying to understand each other. But there was one point where he was like, yeah, I work out all the time. I can do a wall sit for 20 minutes. And then he goes into a wall sit. And I'm standing there, I'm like, dude, you don't have to do that. I'm not going to stand here and watch you wall sit for 20 minutes. But, like really impressive. But like, please get up. Like, no, we don't have to do this. And then we get in to the second half of the conversation. And this is where things go a little culty without me realizing. Like the important part is that like I never realized what this was until afterwards. So here that's the thrill, right? We're at family dinner. This guy's super performative and speaks like really, really quietly. And I'm just trying to eat my bowl of free pasta. And we're in Brisbane, Australia, which is a lovely town with really big bats and a beautiful skyline. So now we spill. He starts asking me about my life and my career, which is fine. That's very normal to talk about. You have to expect while you're backpacking, you're going to get like the same 10 questions over again. Like, where are you from? Where are you traveled? Where are you going? How are you going? What do you do? Stuff like that. And so he's asking me what I'm doing. I tell him, oh, I'm, I just graduated college. I work in the film and TV industry. I do sound design. He's like, oh, well, how old are you? I'm like, I was like 23 at the time. It was so random. But he was like, after I told him who I was and how old I was, he was like, would you like to be one of my wingmen? And as he said wingman, he flapped his arms like a bird. And in my mind, I'm like, wingman? Wingman usually means like you're trying to help set your friend up with someone. And so I was like, dude, you're like 40 years old. I just met you. Like, I don't know if I want to be one of your wingmen. And so I was like, what do you mean by wingmen? And he was like, prosperous people. And he like waved his arms like he was a king amongst his people. You know, like that's how regal this suddenly turned. I was like, oh, like, sure, I'll be one of your wingmen, like, whatever. And he goes, great, I have 3 wingmen. And he, like, holds up 3 fingers and he's waving it in the air. And I was like, okay. And he's like, you will be my 4th wingman. And I was like, okay, okay, cool. Like, happy to be one of your prosperous people. He thought I was gonna be, thought I am, successful. Which is why he, you know, he was really inspired by my story and my career path, which is super exciting to hear. You love it when someone's passionate about what you're into and what you're doing. So yeah, I became his 4th wingman. And he showed me pictures of his 3 other wingmen. And one was this Australian dude, one was this like Irish guy, and this other one was some like random dude who was older. I don't really remember. We never took a picture together though. He never put me in his little photo album of his wingman. So I'm a little offended by that. But I did let him follow me on Instagram. I didn't follow him back, but I was like, I really just like, I want this conversation to end. Things have gotten a little too weird and a little too performative for me. And I finished my bowl of pasta. Like, I'm ready to just go back to my room. I want to be done with this. So I turn around and I leave. And that's it. I know he means well. It's just, yeah, I couldn't find my way out of a conversation, so I didn't want to start a new one. The best way that I could have gotten out of this conversation was agreeing to be his 4th wingman and then being like, see you later, buddy. Adios, amigos. Amigo. And so that was that. I thought everything was normal, but then I went to his Instagram and he had messaged me. And that's when things get a little bit weird. And when I'm like, wait, what did I just agree to? What does this guy mean by wingman? So I'm going to pull up the message because I don't care. So the first thing that was a little bit weird, this could also be a cultural difference because he is Chinese, I'm American. I don't really know how they text there. He messaged me this. So in curly brackets, I forget what they're called, but they're like, you also use them in math. He said, later, about 6:37, I will probably lots chance pass by the Treasury Casino. By passing, in parentheses, perhaps allocate/meet my 4th wingman/woman, brackets, you/Louise, 23 to 26 years old, USA, young lady filmmaker, end bracket, in Australia, end parentheses, Chinese former Eni? I don't know what that means. He did say, and I do remember now, he had business at the casino and he was here on a work trip at the casino. I don't know, if someone knows what any of this means, like, will you please drop a comment and like explain the situation? Because I'm still confused to this day. He was a really nice guy, but there was just like a few things that started getting super suspicious. Like, what? But, you know, I became his 4th wingman/woman. It's funny that he said 23 to 26 years old. I was 23. Why do you think I look 26? So I was like, that's like a really interesting way to text and a really interesting message, you know, with all the brackets and the, like, if you know that you're talking to me, so you don't need to describe who I am. But that could be like a difference in the way that we text, you know? But I did go to his bio, his Instagram bio, and that's when things also get weird. His bio, I'm not going to read it word by word. But what I will say is he says that he's the king from the kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland will come into the world and be united. And it continues to say that the sky will rain, the night will rain, the heart will be soft, The heart will be accompanied by people. The wife will be hurtless, sour, sweet. Body will be integrated. If you are in heaven, he will inherit the grand rule, the 9 ethnic. Does anyone know what that means? It just feels a little culty. Just a little. Which is why I kind of accidentally said yes to being this guy's 4th wingman, and he seems to be involved in some culty stuff that I didn't know about. I never followed him back. I never messaged him. We unfollow each other now. We don't follow each other anymore. So I'm assuming that he's kicked me out and I'm no longer his 4th wingman, which is fine because honestly, after his Instagram bio, I was like, I take it back. I was just trying to end the conversation. And now I feel like I'm into something much bigger than what I want to be. Yeah. So that's the story. It's a little anticlimactic because it's not, I don't believe it's actually a cult as much as maybe his belief system, but I frame it like it's a cult because I don't know what the 9th ethnic is. And being the 4th wingman implies that there's 3 other people that go with him. So I'm like, as a group, a little culty. But it all started with him walking down the stairs backwards, and that was the first red flag, where I should have been like, I need to avoid this person. Because it's not possible to walk down the stairs backwards that confidently and that quickly without looking behind you or using the railing as a spot. Make it make sense. He must be very balanced, and I'm sure he cuts through the world, yeah. I hope his business at the casino worked out well. I wish him the best. I'm sure he's a prosperous person too. I wonder what my other fellow wingmen think. I wish I knew what their names were and I could ask them about how they met, because I'm sure it's an interesting story as well. That's the spill. And that is the case. So what's the moral of the story? You're probably thinking, Louise, you just told me you met some weird guy and let him talk you into becoming a 4th wingman, and that's it. I didn't stand up for myself. If you're going to meet a lot of people while you're traveling, and there's some people you don't necessarily click with, or people you don't want to talk to, remember to stand up for yourself and remind yourself that it's okay to be selfish. Whenever you travel, especially solo, it's always a moment of personal growth, and you should explore different versions of yourself and push yourself out of your comfort zone. Be okay with having awkward conversations and uncomfortable conversations, but when you are really not feeling someone, walk away. I'm a bit of a people pleaser, and so it's important to remember that I can put myself first and that's okay. And if I don't feel comfortable in a conversation or it's turning into something I don't really want to, just agreeing to something to get out of it isn't necessarily the best way to get out of it. It's not for me, it's not for them, because suddenly maybe I'm leading them on, making them excited. Oh, I've got a new friend, when in reality I'm just trying to find an out. It's better to be honest, it's better to be open, it's better to stand up for yourself and be a little bit selfish. And that's kind of the point of this story. The core of the story is I let this guy kind of walk all over me and dance all over me. And I was just standing there taking it in when I really just wanted to leave. And so I should have just been like, you know what? I'm done. This is over. Goodbye. I wish you the best. And so that's what I want you to take away from this. And you probably already know that. And so take it as a reminder, because I needed the reminder that it's okay to stand up for yourself and it's okay to be selfish. And to remember, traveling is for you. You're spending so much money to be there. Don't let someone convince you to join their wingman group. That's weird. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this quick story. I hope you have an amazing hump day. It's Wednesday when this comes out, so have a great week. Have a good weekend. And I guess before I close this out, I have big plans, especially for the podcast. I'm going to Europe for a month in a little bit, and I will be bringing you guys with me, and we'll be probably taking a break for the month of July when it comes to uploads. But I will be bringing my camera and my mic so I can record more interviewers with people that I meet there. And also, I'm going with Amelia and another friend. So you guys, I know Amelia's a famous name on this podcast. She's like a star because she's been here for a lot of the moments, and you guys have yet to meet her. So you will definitely meet her when the European episodes come out, and we'll have tons of new content, tons of new stories, and a bunch of new interviews. Once again, the whole point of this podcast is like to share our fun stories because it's just fun and whatever, but also to hopefully give you guys any advice on where to go, what to do, how to do it, as well as a little confidence. You know, if I can do it, like you can too. It's all fake it till you make it at the end of the day. So I just wanted to say that as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please stick with us. If you want more content from us, check out our Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. If you want to build your travel mood board, you want to see the places that we're talking about, you need ideas of where to go next and want to see what they look like, our Pinterest is the perfect place to go. We post every single day, travel pictures only. So if you're just craving more travel content, it's really great to head over there. And I'll see you when I see you. Thanks for listening. Love ya. Bye. Oh, one more time. If you're the guy who's the big part of the story, I mean you no harm. I'm just confused.